Welcome back to Mind Over Matter, episode 3. Today we're going to be discussing a very, very important episode on two public figures who actually encountered mental health struggles in their life with anxiety and depression. But they managed to have that resilience to come out and become powerful figures in today's human era.
You see, today's episode, I think is the one that our listeners are really going to find very, very powerful, because we are going to dive into actual situations, and these are public figures that what we're going to be saying about them, it's there in public, so listeners can also fact check it. But most importantly, we want to see how they have been able to achieve the mental resilience that we've been talking about, and what means of strategies that they use to reach there. Okay.
One of the first figures actually that we have, I look up to, is the guy called Jordan Peterson, So Jordan Peterson was working in the University of Toronto, if some of you did not know. And he was exiled from there, and then from there he went on a deep down dive.
Why was he exiled?
Because he was speaking truth, right? Or his own truth about some agenda. People thought that he was pushing an agenda, but he was actually speaking truth. And then he ended up going in a deep down dive of depression and anxiety to the point where he was consuming medication for it. Within a period of time, he came from that, and then he experienced withdrawal symptoms, which took a very huge toll in his mental health. But even still today, he managed to recover and made it to who he is today. He's a well-known public figure, a man who stands up for what is truth, a man who has mental resilience, a man who is able to encourage and empower so many men in the world.
Okay, so which philosophies do you think Jordan Peterson really made use of in that situation to really get through it?
I think
which philosophies do you think he applied?
I think one of the biggest philosophies that Jordan Peterson applied was the art of stoicism, right? So Zeno Santium says that stoicism is a practice that when you are faced with the challenges, you can react within the 4 emotions or 4 logical conclusions: courage, discipline, wisdom, and justice.
Okay.
So when you are faced with a difficult situation, act with courage. When you are faced with a difficult situation, act with discipline. When you are faced with a difficult situation, act with justice. And when you're faced with a difficult situation, act with wisdom. If you really apply these 4 principles in your life, I believe you truly can make it and surpass any other person when it comes to mental health. Mental health is very important, which is why we came up with this campaign or podcast, Mind Over Matters, because your mental health is important. So really apply the principle of wisdom. Now, wisdom is knowledge applied. It's basically the proper application of knowledge.
Yes.
Now, when you're faced with a difficult situation, apply wisdom. The knowledge that you have, apply it in your real life situation so that you can exit that problem, so that you can, become higher than you are or elevate yourself when it comes to mental health. When you are faced with a difficult situation, respond with courage. Most of us respond with fear. And fear tends to draw us back.
Shame,
guilt,
the lower
doubt,
of
of vibration by
Mr. Hawkins. Something.
Yes.
J. Hawkins, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Yes. I think you should search it. The scale of conscientiousness. So when you are faced with a difficult situation, respond with courage. Stand up and go fix that situation. Don't run away from it, because you running away from it is you creating an even far worse situation than what it is. When you are faced with a difficult situation, respond with justice. Now it's difficult for us to respond with justice because most of us want to do what is fair unto us. But remember that do unto others what you would like them to do
Ubuntu principle.
unto you. You know, respond with that Ubuntu principle of being fair. Don't do it for your own individualistic desires. At the end of the day, you're going to be at the top of the food chain, but then yet you're depressed and you're asking yourself what happened. Knowledge is power. And Jordan Peterson is a great resemblance of that.
Yeah. Where is Jordan Peterson right now?
Well, Jordan Peterson right now is he's doing his book called We Who Wrestle with God, which is going to be a very heavy book that's coming out at the end of November. He's currently also doing a tour around the world. I think it's around the Middle East, where he's doing a tour in the Middle East, explaining the biblical context of scripture of the four gospels in the Bible. Yes, that's where he is at right now. And his latest episode was with Richard Dawkins and Connor O'Neill, where they were dealing with heavy concepts of faith and religion, of what actually matters. Is it happiness or meaning?
Okay. I think looking at this case study at Jordan Peterson, we can really throw out a few examples of how to go about facing a struggle. You know, I think this will be very helpful to our listeners.
Well, who is one of the people that you look up to when it comes to mental health and resilience and facing mental health problems?
I'm thinking of Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Yes.
Why Kanye West? What's his story?
Kanye West's story was really, inspiring and touching. You know,
despite him being viewed as anti-Semitic.
I mean, that's after the whole everything. You know, he started as a producer. He was actually in college, and then he dropped out of college to chase the dream of being a producer. And then he started working as a producer. You know, low-hand producer, background producer, where you don't really get that recognition. But because of his talent, he was able to get signed to people like Jay-Z under Roc Nation, where he was able to produce like albums for big
corporations,
big names in the hip-hop space, you know. And then moving from music production, he also did his own music, which was a huge impact on the culture, because he's the first rapper that I could say speaks about God and makes it sound cool. Yes. And then he also, despite the music accolades, he got into the fashion industry, which is where he really made a lot of buzz, because if you remember the deal that he had with Adidas. Yes. So
and he lost it.
He lost the deal, and that's what I want us to talk about. You know, I feel like we're not really gonna get into the details as of to why did he lose the deal with Adidas, because they have to do with Semitism and things like that.
Yes,
but I think the mere fact that at some point he was a billionaire. Yes. And then after losing the Adidas deal, he lost that status. And to see him still, his recent tour was in Tokyo or China, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So to see him still use music as a way to heal not only himself, but to kind of share the voices of people of where he comes from. You know, he's one person that I think as much as he went through the whole depression cycle where he was taking medication, you know, he went through a whole bunch of things. There's where he talks on his album Thunder that his wife's manager was faking his wife's signature so that they could interfere between Kanye, the mother of the kids, and the kids, you know. So he went through a whole depressive cycle. He, like Jordan Peterson, took depression pills and he had to stop taking them, which I think it's what resulted in him losing like money in terms of the music industry. But man, he just stayed loyal, you know. I would like to say he lost his mother just when he got into the game. And I think there is something that still keeps him grounded. The way he's not so afraid to say things that people might find disturbing,
anti-Semitic,
because that's how he feels and that's his experience. You know, we can't say no, don't say no truth. If it's truth, it's truth. It's what happened to him. At least we should recognize that, you know. And I think he's one person that creatives most especially can look up to as from developing mental resilience and strategies to cope with mental health challenges. So as you can see guys from today's episode, there's two people that we discussed with really good examples of building mental resilience and fighting mental health challenges.
And that was it guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments on our show, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Mind Over Matters. Mind Over Matters?
Mind Over Matters with Kanye and BK.
Yes, Mind Over Matters with Kanye and BK.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Cheers and stay tuned for more.
Thank God for this, still I rise in this LOVs like we're in debt, which is hard to get. Ain't no way that I'm getting scared. Those who make me ready bury them. Time goes but it never grows. They only call when they see the fall.